banger? Hell yeah.
Class is in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and TradeFly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Piper Academy. We got a great show lined up for you today. Bitcoin sitting at about $62,000 right now. Ethereum fighting to hold on to 3K. And Goldman Sachs gives a very ominous warning to all investors. This time, it's different. All that and a whole lot more today on Piper's Academy, guys. Let's get it. Classes in session. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. I am your host, Army Piper. We come at you every Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Guys, thanks for joining us here today. We got a great show lined up for you today. Seeing all kinds of FUD around Bitcoin right now, and everyone's a little scared. So today we're going to try to break this stuff down, unravel it, see what these people are saying, and try to come to some type of, should you have some elevated emotions right now, or is everything right on track? We're going to be looking at all of that, but I'm not doing the show by myself, guys. I have a fantastic team behind the scene, Crux of Crypto, ZTS Rhythm, but right here on screen with me every morning, it's my co-host, it's TradeFly and the OC Guy. What is up, fellas?
What's going on, guys? It's good to be here. I am excited to do another show with you guys, and hey, Bitcoin is at a critical level, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit about it when we get into the TA, but let's get this party started.
Absolutely. OC, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. First time in a long time that my system is just behaving. Thanks God. This solar eclipse, it just lasted too long for me, along with, what was it, Tuesday techs? Well, not a good combination. Other than that, thank you guys for joining today. And I see a ton of messages. So guys, thank you so much. And
You
hey,
sound
Alexander
beautiful.
G, GS, Eric Willen, CF, 90FT, what's up? Crops of Crypto. So welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. Love to see you guys here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We got all the alumni in the crowd right now. We got a lot to break down today and a lot to unravel. I know, TradeFly, you've been working some late nights, getting off at the wee hours of the morning. Typically when I used to be leaving the bars when you're getting off work. So you're tired.
Yeah.
But we're gonna need your brain to work today. We're going to need your brain to work today. We need some brain power to break down this FUD. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. Guys, today's news brought to you guys by Decrypted.tax. Always, even though it's not tax season anymore, we're out of tax season, they're always going to be the sponsor of our daily news. Let's jump into it. Guys, taking a look right here, we see fear and greed sitting at 67. We are in greed. We're not extreme greed anymore. Greed is still hanging on, though, because that price is just so astronomically much higher than what it typically would be at the halving. That halving, by the way, guys, coming up 2 days, 9 hours, 56 minutes. So about... According to this here, let's see here. It's going to be about 5:30 in the afternoon, or in the evening, we'll say, in Mountain Time. So that means 7:30 in the evening on the East Coast on Friday is when this halving should take place. We're going to be keeping an eye on this, and I'll make sure that I announce the community in the Discord, hey, we're 1 hour out, right? I don't think we're going to see much off of it. You might see a little bit of volatility, but I think for the most part, yeah, it's just the halving, guys. And while it's a major ordeal, it is not an immediate reaction. So keep all that in mind, guys. Looking here on the daily right now, we're finally looking a little green. This morning, when I first looked at this, we were red on the hourly, red on the daily, red on the weekly, and red on the monthly. So all your gains and for the past month probably got hurt really bad there, unless you were an Ondo or Core or Ton. Some of these Pendle, some of these other tokens, Manta, that have held out for the month. But right now on the daily, you can see that Render is down, Neo's down, Stacks is down. But overall, Near's up 4.3. We got some decent movers in here right now. Let's take a look down here and see what we're looking at. Bitcoin currently right now on the crypto bubbles coming in at 62,399 there. Ethereum, like I said, fighting to hold on to 3K. We do have some upward movement in the past hour, but this daily, weekly, monthly, all being red, this is what's hurting everyone's portfolios right now, causing all of this FUD and fear and emotional trauma and all this other stuff, guys. Let's see here. What else do we got? Any big movers for the day in here? We got Tron up 1.6%. Near Protocol up 4.3%. If you guys don't know, I put it out, believe earlier in the week, and then I also talked about it over on Discord over the weekend. I said I'm buying some Near Protocol, so I bought some Near. So that's up. That's holding on for me right now, at least. Let's see what else we got here. Big movers, 3.6% on MANTA. Mantle, sorry, not MANTA. And then Makers up 3.4%. We got Caspa up 3.4%, sitting at about 11.7 cents there. Monero up 4.3. So overall, the top 100 there, guys. Nothing spectacular, nothing amazing going on. We do have some movers, but right now we just got to hold on to that support. Looks like Aptos did move up 1 on its positioning in the top 100 here. Let's jump over, take a look at these Bitcoin liquidations, guys. See how we're looking over here. Bitcoin liquidations past 24 hours got 55,917 traders liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $145.7 million. The largest single liquidation order happening on OKX. It was for ETH. It was a cool $5.4 million there. You can see that a big majority of the of the trades there were longs getting wrecked. So a lot of people trying to long the bottoms here and getting liquidated on those as it pulls down even more or just kind of consolidating sideways. We'll take a look at that chart in a second, guys. Let's look over here. Check out the economic calendar today. EIA crude oil stock changes there going on. We got 2 Fed Reserve people speaking here, 2 Fed people speaks. And then tomorrow we're going to get initial jobless claims. Right now, was at 211,000 people. 211,000 people have filed for unemployment last week. This week, we'll look and see if it's still that number. Right now, consensus and forecast 212,000 for forecast, 215,000 for consensus. So we'll see how that comes out. Again, this comes out weekly. Just to remind you guys, this is a weekly thing. So this is how many people filed for unemployment for the week in America. That is, we've got four Fed people speaking tomorrow, guys. And we did have some news that came out over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this real fast, and then we'll take and break down what was said there. Fed Chair Powell spoke yesterday, so let's get this up here and see what he had to say. This is his bullet note summary of the Fed Chair Powell's comments from yesterday's speech that he did. Recent data shows a lack of further progress on inflation, so inflation is not doing well. Inflation has introduced new uncertainty on whether the Fed can cut rates later this year. Not how many they can do, on whether they can. They are uncertain based on the newest data that's come out on the economy if they can even do a rate cut this year. And I've been talking about that percentage dropping and dropping and dropping. I'm going to show you guys where we actually get into that 90% plus likelihood of a rate cut. And it's pretty far out. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that now. Fed can maintain higher rates for as long as needed. Meaning, if we don't see a change, we don't have to cut these rates. The only thing that would make them cut rates, guys, would be if the labor force was significantly getting crushed, and we haven't seen those numbers yet. Recent data has not given greater confidence on inflation. No, it's going up. We're losing confidence on that inflation too there, Fed. In recent data, our restrictive Fed policy needs more time to work, and it will likely take longer to regain confidence on inflation. What happened to that Fed pivot? Well, it's pretty much gone. Let's take a look over here at what we are seeing on the CME group. This is the prediction chart for rate cuts. If we take a look here, right now, we're looking at a 98.4% chance of no change, 0% chance of a rate cut, and that is going to be for 1 May. But where it gets interesting here is we take a look at June, we're at a 15.2% chance of a rate cut, not close to that 90. If you guys remember, we had like 97, 98% for June not that long ago. So taking a look at July now, 43.6% chance there. Take a look at September. This is the September FOMC. 68% chance of a rate cut. November, take a look at that. 76% chance of a rate cut for November. December, we finally get close to that 90, but not quite. It's 87% chance of a rate cut in December, guys. We get into January. January, we just barely break the cusp of a 90% chance of a rate cut, meaning that we're looking at 2025 most likely before we see any cut in the Fed rates. Let's go ahead and jump back over to Trio Cam. Guys, that's the economic data today, and it's not pretty. It's not. Like, I understand why people are going so risk off right now. When you're looking at the Fed's rate cut likelihood not being until 2025, TradeFly, what are your thoughts on that? Is it a good thing? Is this for the betterment of the economy as a whole and the American buyer in long term? Because you say they cut at 0.25%, and that gets people into FOMO of buying, right? Do these prices increase even higher if they cut the rates too quick? What's your thoughts on that, TradeFly? And then we'll go over to UOC.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to cut the rates too quick because they take a very conservative approach. They like to kind of layer into it. Powell's been very transparent about that. That's why when we see rate cuts, we only see 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. So now they continue to do them, but that's the approach I'm sure they're going to take on the backside of all of this too, right? They don't want to shock the economy. But look at this. S&P 500, all-time high. NASDAQ, all-time high. Bitcoin, all-time high. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we think is going to happen? Like, price will not go up forever. Price has got to come down. I think it's just so happens that there's a little bit of a FUD in the market, but I don't think that it really has changed all that much, to be honest. We've had inflation. I don't think the price of gas has changed much. I think it's actually going back up again. Everything is really, really expensive. They're just trying to kind of fudge the numbers to make you think inflation is better, even though inflation really hasn't been better. So, maybe that's just they're starting to realize that people are not stupid and they know that they're still spending more money. That could be, part of it too. So I don't know, not too surprised. I mean, to see a pullback in all of the markets right now, just based on where they are price point wise.
Yeah, I tend to agree. OC, what's your thoughts on that, brother?
Well, you mentioned that if we're going to be having maybe some effect on that, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been saying this. Also, I do agree with TradeFly. Everything's just been pumping. We haven't had a breathe, right? I mean, we've been not on the water, but on top of the sky, and whatever goes up, it needs to come down at some point. So, yeah, I'm not saying that we're going to have a total economical collapse. I'm just saying that, I mean, it's just a market natural structure, right? And to keep a healthy market, we'll see, or we need to see that retracement. So already we have been pumping like crazy. We need to have that very well-known retracement. And talking about also Bitcoin, since TradeFly mentioned, like Bitcoin all-time highs, guys, we're still in the range. We haven't even broken the range that we are into. And I mean, remember that also we have pre-halving dumps, right? Sometimes those pre-halving dumps move within after halving events. So just be a little bit careful right there, especially with things happening. But I do have an open position because right now it's when things either make or break, right? But you need to be responsible. This is not financial advice. And especially on the economy, like TradeFly, everything is being forged, or it feels like everything is being forged, or at least pushed one way, and then the revision comes at differently, right? So I mean, that doesn't feel like accuracy. So that's what I got.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm taking a look here. Let's jump over to the news chart here again. I'm looking here at this post that was put out by the Kabisi letter. He says the average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage in the U.S. rises to 7.43%. It's a new 2024 high. So we're even seeing these rates actually go up. Not just the Fed rates, like they're not raising the federal loan rate, which is how much it costs for the interest rate for a bank to borrow from a bank, right? This is just the prime on top of the federal rate. that's going up right now. So we have not seen mortgage rates this high since early December 2023 when the Fed said rate cut talks were premature. Now it's looking like it's even longer. You can see here on this chart, the average rate on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage rises to that new high, 7.43% there. Bringing the average home, this means the monthly mortgage payment on a $500,000 house with 20% down is now $3,500 a month. I just see more pain in the future here, guys. When you see things like that, that's the biggest purchase anyone can make. They're going to be sitting at the 7.43%. You're talking $3,500 mortgage. Keep in mind, not even sure that does. Yeah, it doesn't. That figure does not include property tax, insurance, or maintenance on that house. So things are just getting really unaffordable right now. And when you hear the Fed say we're not even looking at rate cuts this year now, 2024 off the table, looking at 2025, that just means more pain for longer. And it's people want to go risk off. But is that the right move? That's the question. And that's what we're going to look at today. Is that the right move? Is there money to be made to offset this inflation rate through gains? Let's go ahead and TradeFly. Do you got the Dixie handy? Because you do a really good breakdown on that Dixie. You whistling Dixie over there. If you have it, we will go ahead and jump over to that. I want to take a look at that chart, and then we will go and take a look at Bitcoin. I'll pull up Bitcoin, and you can pull up that heat map afterwards. So let's get it.
Cool. Yeah, so not much has actually changed. We broke into the range that we were talking about just a couple of days ago, and you can see it. It's pretty clear here from about 106 to 107 is a range that we saw previously back in about the October timeframe. All right, so we're in there now. We've broke through. Now what we're looking for right here is a retest of this area. So it was resistance. Now we're kind of retesting that support. Don't get too tight around the line. It's always a little bit of a range, but it's kind of a key area. But we want to see this actually break down. All right. So if it breaks down, this is going to be good for us. And then we can think about coming back down here and retesting these areas. So keep an eye on that. That's going to be important for us because remember, there is a loose inverse correlation with Bitcoin. And so you can see it today, right? Because it is starting to trend down a little bit. What has Bitcoin price done today, or this morning at least? It started to trend up just a little bit, only about 500. But still, here nor there, you can see that relationship in action kind of this morning. So again, pretty key level we're at right now at 106. Keep your eye on that. You see the breakdown, expect Bitcoin price to shoot up. However, if we do find support here, that's not going to be a good sign of things to come. But looking at the prime oscillator just to see like if we can take anything away from this, like it does look like it's showing weakness. Now, I don't know how well this correlates to price action for the Dixie, but we'll look at it. We'll say it does look weak. If I was looking at this and I was going to make a play on crypto sitting at support right now, this is not the place I would do it because you can see that it's losing. It's getting a little weaker as it's testing this area of support. So that's what I'm looking at on Dixie.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now, guys. I appreciate y'all being here. Alexander G is in the house right now. We got Alex Crypto in the house, and we had a poll up. Do we cut rates in 2024? No, paying for longer, or yes, eventually we have to. I'm going to go with, well, I won't tell you what I'm going with. I'm going with something. I'll let you guys do your vote. I don't want to sway the numbers. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here, guys. What's that?
Scotty, no.
Scotty, no. Let's jump in here and take a look at Bitcoin right now. And I'm going to show you guys what I pointed out yesterday to Keeper. If you guys watched over there, we had a pretty good conversation about this economy thing. I have put on some new lines on here. Let me go ahead and isolate off that Bitcoin chart. We do have kind of this other extended wedge here. And at this point, we could still be trading in the new white triangle there, symmetric triangle. But we did have that breakdown and that retest holding right now. And what I want to show you is if I pull over here, nope, we're going to go with this chart. We're going to put this on the 3-day. I believe it was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was that. And we're going to pull a fixed ranged volume profile on here. Let me turn off some stuff because I had this yesterday and it was looking pretty interesting what I was seeing there. If we go from the start of this pump that we had to where we are right now, and take a look, right now we are still sitting above the value area low. And if we go over here, we can put this on the daily and you'll see this a little bit better. We had a nice rejection right there off of that point of control, bringing us down. We're still sitting above this value area low. The value area low for this entire running period here is sitting right at $60,000 right now. So I would say that $60,000, a very critical level that we need to be holding on to for Bitcoin to not go even further down. But if we go and take a look at what we got going on here with the fibs, let's put those back on. Fibonacci's, that $60,000 range, that's the 382 sitting right here, right in that ballpark. It's coming in at 60,300, 60,000 to 60,300, not that big of a wick area. That would be the critical level that I'm thinking that we need to hold right now for Bitcoin. We can see that we have consolidated pretty cleanly right here this period of time over the past couple 48 hours, we'll call it. And we are starting to get a nice consolidation here of repeat bullish divergences with the peak seeker. So we do have some things on here that are saying, hey, look, we're building up here. This energy buildup that we have going on right here on this Oscillator Pro ribbon and this buildup that we have right here of this RSI is going to lead to eventually to a breakout. I just don't know how much of a breakout it's going to be or where it's going to go to. Of course, nobody does. And if they tell you otherwise, they're lying. That's all there is to it. Or they have way too much confidence in what their skill set is versus reality of markets. So that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, though, guys. $60,000 key critical level. If we do get a pump up from this current range that we're in, I would be watching for another retest of that triangle. Of course, we do have the 236 coming in right now at about 65,496. I saw a thing on Twitter earlier that said that based on longs and shorts right now, matter of fact, I think I actually have that saved. I may have saved it. Let's go check and see if I did. If I did, I'll show it to you. I'll show you. Let me see here real fast. Oh, I did. Kyle Dupes shared this. So let's go pull this up. I'm going to get it over here to my screen and then we'll share this and you guys can check this out. That's $66,000 to $65,600 to $66,000 range. Pretty key and important. Here's why. Bitcoin at $66,000 could liquidate over $1.7 billion in shorts right now. In this volatile market, leverage can be a risky game. Be cautious in every move. Great advice there from Kyle. But yeah, you can see here the amount of longs versus shorts that are on here. Cumulative long liquidation leverage is the left side. That's the red there. It's about $20 million there. Cumulative short liquidation leverage on the right side. This is according to Binance. Is $1.7 billion that could just be completely wiped out at a $66,000 Bitcoin. So keep that in mind, guys. When we're looking at that chart, we are at great support right now. We've been holding really nice on that level there above that value area low, and $66,000 Bitcoin, which, you know, market movers, they like to move things, could be reaching out to touch somebody in a very bad way and liquidate, you know, $1.7 billion in trades. Thoughts on that, guys, before we get into the charts? If you got anything that you want to show, OC, what do you got for us, man?
I do have right here Bitcoin, but nonetheless, I mean, just as a quick reminder, everything is just kind of not working with TradingView as always. But yeah, I completely see your point on what you're looking at that before the area low. I do have an open position, guys. I'm going to be having a 2 entry position. So full disclaimer here, 1.5 and 1.5, just in case we have a breakout. But guys, we have what I was looking for yesterday, this secondary bullish divergence. So the bullish divergence is already there, basically playing out almost like this one, and what is left is just breaking through the trend line right down here. So other than that, you'll see that I have my alert set, and if I don't get all the way down here, well, then on the breakout retest, that's gonna be my next entry. Remember that my first entry is already here. I took a little money here, and then I'm out of that position, and this is gonna be then my leverage position at those areas. So not financial advice, but I do see these areas here as an important areas because yes, we're below the area low, and most likely we could be going to visit that area low before we completely fall apart in Bitcoin. I'm not believing that we're going to be falling apart in pieces, but at least, I mean, there's a real chance to go visit the 52K, 54K. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I got. I mean, those are my thoughts right now on the overall movements that we've been
Awesome.
seeing.
TradeFly, what do you got on that heat map? What are we looking at on there?
Let's get it rocking. All right. So looking at the heat map, probably not the greatest thing you want to see right here is a lot of liquidity building up on the south side of where our price action is right now. And that's looking at about 61,450. Let me just look at the chart real quick. And we do have an area of support at about 60,900. So that is very much within reason that we could see this liquidity get cleared out. And then you can just see it's kind of hot. I'm, on the bottom side. There is a spike right here. That's where people went short prior to this move down and right. So let's just go ahead and zoom out, do what we do on the weekly here, take a look-see. And yep, that's a little bit of a hot spot, about 61,350 on the weekly as well. So, if I was a betting man, price is getting pretty close to there, and it's already trending down in that direction. Wouldn't be surprised to see a wick come down here and clear that liquidity out and then find support. And we'll see that on the charts, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. Actually, you guys have both talked about Bitcoin. So yeah, just right here, this is an area of support that I'm looking at personally at 60,900. What I am starting to identify as a trend line kind of pushing us in that direction as well. So yes, we are having indications that we are potentially going to have a reversal. That's very clear here on the prime oscillator. It's also on the daily too. It is starting to flip to the upside. So what we could see is a little bit more of a movement down, clear out the liquidity. Then we get a breakout and then that movement up and right. That's what I would personally be looking for right now. So that's what I got.
Awesome. Yeah, and you're not the only one saying that, just so you're tracking. There is an article that supports that exact sentiment right there. Ethereum and Bitcoin investors are destroyed, but it could be positive. Let's go take a look at what they're saying here in this article. It says, after a tough week that saw Bitcoin dip to around 61.5 and Ethereum down to 28.90, chatter has been mostly dark, yet the surge of FUD among traders may not be as bad as it sounds. Let's take a look at what they're saying here. As markets start to bounce back, going against the crowd's doomsday predictions, there's a lesson to be learned. When everyone is selling in a panic, it often sets the stage for a turnaround. This is where we are now, at a potential tipping point where the pessimism has gone so far that it might just flip the other way. According to sentiment analysis, negative tendencies on the market could indicate a coming rebound as the markets have a history of moving contrary to the crowd's fears. The expectation is that this trend could hold up until the hype and excitement FOMO surrounding the halving coming up on Friday. So not the only one with that, you're looking at data. They're looking at a different data. They're saying we could be poised for that turnaround, and we're definitely seeing the indicators and some key levels that could play out to do just that. So I wanted to bring that up. That there's an article of a different perspective, two different angles on the same target, looking at it the same way you are from another angle there. So let's go ahead and jump in, guys. Let us know. It's 8 o'clock here. It's top of the hour. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Let us know in the chat what you guys would like to see for some TA. We got about 30 minutes here with you guys. Got a new poll up also. It says, will May be a bullish or a bearish month? Remember, I want to recall to everybody, so that you remember that typically May, go away in May. That's Crypto Face said that once, and I think he was 100% accurate back in the day.
May Gray.
What's that?
I said May Gray.
May Gray, that's right. And then also that poll was finished. Do we cut rates in 2024? 75% of you said no. So there you go. Go ahead and vote on that poll. Let's see what you guys have to say about that, and let us know what you got for some TA there. Let's go ahead and kick it over. TradeFly, I'm going to let you lead the gate today if you're ready on some TA. You can pull up what you want and what you're watching right now on the charts.
Yeah, man. Let me pull up some MATIC, since we haven't looked at that too often recently.
Captain Jack MATIC.
That's it. Here at your service. All right. Your one and only drunk sailor. But not ideal, right? So we were following this. We were watching this channel all the way up, and we got that rejection, and you can see a clear trend down and right. All right, so then we had this breakdown, but this breakdown really coincided with most of the alts dumping that happened that day. The thing that I don't like with MATIC is MATIC really hasn't recovered as well as some of them did, right? And it's on the bottom side of some key areas. Looking at the volume area low, you can see it's not really able to break back into that range. That's not ideal. It's also on the bottom side of the golden pocket. Silver lining, maybe not even a silver lining, just a glimmer of hope, we'll say, is that it is holding up on the 786 right now as support. So this might be that area that if you see Bitcoin actually hold up and find support in its current level, that this could be the area for MATIC to hold up and find its support and then look for its continuation up and right. Because you can see this again, prime oscillator is trending up and right at a, it's pretty good angle here that we're looking at. It's not very benign. It's pretty sharp up and right. However, the price action is still coming down a little bit, which is it is interesting. It actually, if you look at it very closely, you can see like a little lower low on the prime oscillator there. So let's hope that this area holds up at about 67 cents. I mean, could you imagine, not too long ago, if you were saying you're getting MATIC at 67 cents after the movement that we had up and right, you would have been a very happy person, right? So the unfortunate part is you're kind of playing that game right now that something is trending down and right. You really want to see a reversal in trend or some kind of indication that you're getting a reversal in trend, and you want to start seeing a series of higher lows. Unfortunately, just on the 4 hour, what are you seeing right here? A series of lower highs where you did have that series until it got that rejection. So it's kind of tough. This one's kind of tough to figure out. But again, I would like to see, just to give you something visually, we want to see this start to trend up and right. And then obviously we got to hold this key area right here. So 67 cents right now is an area to keep an eye on. Like I said, especially if Bitcoin makes its move up and right, then it's not far away, unfortunately. I wish I could give you a better number, but you can see clear support and resistance right here, volume area low at 74 cents. So if we make that push up, I am definitely going to look for a rejection in that area initially. Not saying it's going to come all the way back down, but you might see something like that before you see the continuation up and right. So key area 67 cents and 75 cents. If it does continue to break down, you can see this wick right here, obviously showing you that there was buying pressure in this area. So 59 cents, I would likely see a bounce in that area. So there's kind of your key levels to look for right here. Right now, you could look for a potential long entry with a tight stop loss if it does come down, and then this would kind of be your next area looking for a long entry.
Awesome. OC, what do you got for us, brother?
All right, I want to get started with ADA Cardano. So because it is looking freakishly similar to what TradeFly was looking at in that area. But here's a couple of key difference. Remember that I have a trend line going on in here. We're piercing through that trend line right now as we speak. That's why that's why I wanted to get started with it. And also we have a dual divergence, bullish divergence, but look at that, just the zero line has been tough to break, right? So far I haven't had that chance. And I mean, if we do not bounce from this trend line now, most likely we are gonna keep going downwards. Let me show you here. So when I start turning on my indicators, you'll see that I have a little line in here, right? So let's just add that one. Remember, also keep in mind that we have this manual trend line building up here. Look at where is my next big support. It's all the way down here. Let's just keep it, these two lines, let's just keep it there for a little bit, and then let's go to another one. Look at that, we have right down here another one. Now it's time to add that confluence. There we go, with the support and resistances. Then if I go to the volume profile bar magnifier, I see another line in here. And then to finalize, let's take a look at the channel, right? Let me now clear everything up so we can see what's happening on the channel. And we're making that upwards pressure to the channel, right? Remember that we have the trend line. If we break the trend line, we most likely are going to be visiting the center of the channel. Where is the center of the channel? Where we have all of this confluence right down here, right? So we either make or break right here. So as you can see, this area, it's a key importance. because when we break it here, most likely we're also breaking the trend line. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest and a possible continuation to the downside. So we need to be very, very, very careful right here on Cardano. And also, I'm gonna be adding 2 of my alarms, because I will be longing the center of the channel, then shorting the top of the channel. Not financial advice, and that will absolutely depend on what the oscillator does. So I'm only gonna be longing after a confirmed retest and maybe a flip of the ribbon, and shorting after a flip of the ribbon, and only if we are still below the 0 line on ADA. That's what I got on ADA. Turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. We had a request for Caspa, and guys, Zach has dropped an entire list there in the Discord chat for us, so of what people are asking for. But one of them was Caspa, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Caspa. And while you guys look through that list, I might knock out Link. We'll see where we're at. I want to show you guys something here. If you guys have been following me for a long time, you guys know that my call for buy on Caspa was back at around 4.5 cents. Way back in the day, we were, I believe it was right in this area here that we were bouncing on this long running trend line. This was back in October of 2023. So hot minute ago, we were looking at buying back there. Okay. If you take a look at where we are now, I want to pull this up and show you. First off, we do have some levels of support here. That is the platinum pocket, but we can't seem to get above that 786 at 11.8 cents right now. It does look like we're likely going to be coming back, especially when I pull on the oscillators and see here that we are getting that flip of the ribbon there. Looks like this could be coming back down, and we are starting to get that RSI prime relative strength index Heikin-Ashi candle looking like it may come back down also. If we lose this 887 platinum pocket, guys, we could be pulling all the way back down to this long running trend line. And that would be back here. Let's take a look. That was this previous support area back here. So if we go here and we put on a nice little support line here, let's go look at that and see how that looks. There we go. And go and look and see where we're looking at here. We would be in that range right there. So let's go ahead and throw on a T box in here. Let's grab a little rectangle here, and we're just going to put this right in this area here on that support line, color that green so that we don't forget it. And then let's set an alert down there so that we know that that is coming into play. But that's what I'm going to be watching for. If we don't get a turnaround in the Bitcoin market, it is very likely that we could be heading down there. But first, before we do that, we do have 10.9 cents here. That's going to be the platinum pocket, and we cannot disregard that level of support right there first before we come down and hit that. Let me go over here and take a look at my other fib trend extension that I've been running off of for so long. And let me see what that looks like real fast. That is the fib retracement. Nope, that is not it. It is going to be trend-based. There it is. Trend-based fib extension. We are sitting right now on that 5.618. We're just above that. That's that phase 5 golden pocket from the fib extensions that I did way back in the day. We do have another level sitting below us right now that's coming in at about 9.5 cents. So that's what we have there. I'll get back around to Link here in a minute. Let's go ahead and keep this rotation going. TradeFly, what do you got for us, bro?
Yeah. All right. I got that Soul Train ready. All right. Looking at Soul Train on the 4 hour. So we did talk about this area about 127. I was saying I think it'll come back, touch this area before we see that movement back up and right. However, trend is still down and right. That seems to be the overall trend of the crypto market, is a down and right trend, and it is respecting the 20-day SMA on the 4 hour. So similar setup that we just saw with what did I just talk about? I don't even remember what I talked about here. I'm tired. All right, similar setup to the last crypto that I just talked about, and you're seeing price action going down, but the prime oscillator is going up and right? So you're getting a little bit of divergence here, showing us that we should be setting up for a reversal if you were going by strictly by divergence, right? But there's other things for us to look at, and when you have a clear trend down and right, I mean, it's clear as day, lower highs, lower lows, and then it's respecting the moving averages on the way down. It's been very much resistance. I mean, it's really riding the 20-day. It did get over it for a minute, but then after that, rejection 20-day, rejection 20-day, or 20 SMA, and then rejection 20 SMA again. So, I mean, you could almost play that all the way down. So it clearly looks like we want to come back down and touch this 127 area. Again, keep an eye on Bitcoin. See if Bitcoin is finding support in the areas that we just discussed with you. And then that might be an opportunity for you to catch a little long here. Because again, I mean, just like I was talking about with the last one, what was it? It was a MATIC, right? It was MATIC. That's what it was. So
Captain Jack
I mean,
MATIC.
look how far we are off of our high, right? You see our high right here at the 209. Remember this level? We talked about it. We said it was a psychological number after a big pump up, and here we go, big breakdown. Keep that in mind. Psychological numbers, they're a thing, I promise you. So yeah, it looks like we want to revisit 127. So that's your area to look for today, I think. And then if it does just bend back up, I don't think this area is really playing out, to be honest. It didn't really provide any resistance, so I'm going to go ahead and take that away. I think what you're going to look at here is the 20 SMA on SOL right now, because it has been the area that it's been honoring on the way down. So I would say if it does move back up and right, you're going to look probably somewhere around 138, 139-ish. So again, support here, resistance here.
Awesome. OC, what do you got for us, bro?
I got NOS. All right, so NOS wasn't looking that bad. I mean, we still are above the 0 line, and we're technically bouncing on the dynamic reactor, but we need to be a little bit careful now because look at that. Yeah, despite we can see that we have a downward channel here, we also can see that we are at the bottom, right? Or not right there, so, coming out of the bottom, right? That might be looking as something good, but also let me bring to your attention something a little bit more tight around the corners, which is, where is it? Oh, come on. Long time not using it. There we go, regression trend. And I'm going to pull it all the way back here to all the way down here. And as you can see, when I start prolonging these lines down, let's see, where can I prolong them? There we go. Prolonging these channels lines right down here, you'll see that we are breaking through the channel, finding support back up, all right? This is another trend line that I was looking at just today, all right? So these two green lines are what I just did today. But before, we had this little channel, and we broke the channels, whatever about the breakout. It's about the retest, and off we go. Second retest, and off we go. So we've been forming this pattern, but seems like might not be long-lasting because right now, my prime score has been dropping quite fast. So it is now 5 neutral. And also look at that. We might have another bullish or bearish divergence. We need to be careful about it because technically we haven't made a higher high. So this, guys, it is what is actually worrying me. If we fail making the higher high, well, then we might be on danger of breaking the trend line, going for the retest, and off we go downwards. So basically confirmation for a continuation. So we need to be a little bit careful with NOS. Entries or points of entries will be on the trend line, and I want to see a flip of the ribbon right down here just to make sure that I am following the trend line to the upside, right? The next point of entry, it will be back at this other trend line after a breakout just to take this itty bitty movement and then a continuation to a downside. So another entry will be right here as a short. So far, this will be a very interesting zone to look at. It's going to be full pack of action. So just be careful because we don't want you guys to get either liquidated or stopped out. Just play it safe, guys. All right. So I already have added a couple of alerts on the points that I will be interested on entering a couple of trades. And guys, this is not financial advice. Turning it back to you.
Awesome. Let's jump up here. I I want to check this out real fast on Chainlink, and then we'll pass it over to TradeFly. Looking at TradeLink here, we're going to go back in time. TradeFly addressing Bob's questionnaire. He said, any discussion on the Ocean Fetch AI and AGIX merger yet? He's talking about the ASI. No, we have not talked about that today, Bob, as TradeFly told you there. But remember, anytime you have something that is untested, unproven, that's coming out, you always got to look at it as a speculative investment. Not financial advice. I think ASI might be pretty good with that merger. So let's go ahead and jump in here, looking at historically here on Chainlink here. I want to show you guys this trading range that Link was in, starting back here in November of 2023 until its breakout that it had in February of 2024. And why I'm bringing that up to talk about the past, because that's currently where we are back out again. We did have another trade range up here that we were in after that breakout. We have lost that, had a nice retest there of it, and then pulled back into its previous range. If I go ahead and throw fibs on top of this, you'll see that the golden pocket is currently sitting right at the bottom of that trade range. That is going to be critical support here. If we do wick down, watch for a money grab from that stop loss levels out of there from the makers making that market move, and then look for it to pull back up, and so a possible wick down, and then a pull back into the golden pocket before coming back up. But right now, Chainlink is looking pretty in pretty key levels of support and not looking bad. If we do lose those levels again, guess what I didn't do? Did not lock my freaking fibs.
Mark's in here. He's getting you. He's in.
If we do lose that golden pocket, guys, look for a retest, and we would be heading back down to the platinum pocket. Taking a look at the oscillators here. They are all sitting pretty low down here, just like everything else is on the 4-hour. Everything's below that zero line and looking pretty weak. And again, getting multiple bullish divergences printing on the Oscillator Pro. I would say watch this golden pocket. If we hold this golden pocket, likely could be heading back up to that 50% range. That would also be right there, that green line that you see underneath that green line. That is going to be the center line of this whole trade range here. So that's that 50% line there. Makes sense to me that if we did get the pull up here, excuse the Mexican spaghetti, OC, I'm still in your dinner, and get that bounce there, that would be the rejection point that I'd watch for there, coming in at about $15 psychological number on that 50. Let's go ahead and kick it over to TradeFly and see what he's got there. We've got about 11 minutes, so let's do about one more for each of you, and then we'll pop over, take a look at that Goldman Sachs article, and get out of here.
Right on. I got to render up on the daily right now. So looking at that, again, overall trend, pretty similar to MATIC, but it got that rejection in the area of the golden pocket, and it came down to the 786 where it's trying to hold support right now. It did wick down a little bit further, but again, it's almost like black swanish to me, just that dip, how hard it was. You see a lot of the projects, the tokens, they have those crazy wicks because they all crashed pretty hard at the same time. I think a lot of people got liquidated, kind of cascading effect. That's why you see those crazy wicks there. But look what's kind of holding it up, right? So dynamic reactor, as always, trying to act as support. Also coincides with the 100-day SMA, all right? So this is the actual, because I am on the daily. So that's trying to act as support as well. It's pretty close to the dynamic reactor. And again, it was trying to hold the 786, it looks like. But I think we're really going to come down and retest the dynamic reactor here in vicinity of the 887, which is about, I'm going to call probably about 7.13. So about $7.13 is kind of the area I'd be looking for some sort of retest here as support. What you would like to see is the prime oscillator not be bottomed out. This is a bad sign, actually. So it's showing you that there's a reversal, potential reversal in trend. However, you don't want to see it flatlined. Like, it's not flatlined, but it kind of is. If you were to draw, a line right across here, you don't like this. This is not good. You want to see something moving in a direction of sorts, or you want to see that this kind of comes down, and it's not really, I'm not going to call it V-shaped, but you want to see it move up and right. Like this next leg up, the way it's printed right now is bad, okay? Don't want that. What you want to see is it come like that and then kind of make a trend up and right. That gives you a little bit of confirmation that, we're going to build some strength here where we're finding support. Unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing, which kind of leads me to believe that it'll probably come back down just a little bit, at least to test this area of support where the dynamic reactor is. So again, about 71 or $7 and about 13 cents or so is kind of what I would be looking to find some support. But ultimately, the greater area of support really is going to be at about 677. And that really wouldn't punch all the way through the dynamic reactor, and that coincides with you having a support here. If you go back on the left, you see that there's pretty clear support and a big bounce off of that. So keep an eye on those areas. If it does recover, if the market pushes up and right, kind of the same as you're seeing. I just see it as that next level of resistance up. I don't think we're going to have any kind of massive push to the upside. So I'm looking very small movements here. And I mean, I say small, let's actually measure it out to see when I say small, what small means. If we go from here to there, that's an 8% move. That's actually a really nice move. But that's where I would see resistance here. And that's just going back left on the chart and seeing where I can find some resistance. So yeah, again, let's see, $8.25 is kind of, I see as the high side target, which my bias, to be perfectly frank with you, is down, not up.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. OC, real fast, what you got for us?
Absolutely. Breaking 8 as we speak. So look for those areas of support right here. So very, very quick on that one. Another one that I'm looking at is MANTA. So MANTA, I was looking at this V-shaped recovery. And also I was expecting, because we have multiple divergences and a peak seeker, that we keep pushing forward in an upwards movement, right? We are still within the vicinity of the possible upwards movement here. Nonetheless, also we need to take into consideration that we are not breaking above the zero line just now. Instead of doing that, we are reversing, and we can still do another bullish divergence, but that also means that we could be going farther down, maybe creating right here a very ugly head and shoulders pattern, or even better, a double bottom pattern. So we need to be very careful right here on MANTA. At points of entry, we need to turn on our indicators in here and see that, let's see, right here, that are right down here where it's our purple line. Why not the gray one? Because we already are below that gray line, and we are oscillating back and forth through that one. So I will be ignoring that one at the moment. So what else do we have on that area? We have a loud order block, which supports my double bottom area, or theory that we are going to be holding this zone at 1.71 at least for a pound. So that's what I got on MANTA. Also remember ADA breaking through the trend line. Be careful on ADA. Also areas for entry on MANTA 1.69, 1.70.
Awesome. Let's jump over into this article, guys. This was the thumbnail article today. Goldman Sachs cautions against extrapolating previous Bitcoin halving cycles for price predictions of this cycle. Bitcoin's fourth mining reward halving just 2 days away. And let's jump down here, break this down real fast. Bitcoin's mining reward halving alone did not catalyze the previous bull runs. Macro factors probably played a role, according to Goldman Sachs. And so if we take a look down here, the fourth mining reward halving just 2 days away, it's going to go down to 3.125 Bitcoin for every reward instead of 6.25. Historically, the previous 3 halvings have been accompanied by Bitcoin price appreciation after the halving. Although the time it took to reach the all-time high can differ significantly each cycle, caution should be taken against extrapolating the past cycles and the impact of the halving, given the respecting prevailing macro conditions. He's talking about the economy stuff there, guys. If we jump down here and we take a look, they showed here that the bulls were in the driver's seat following each of the 3 halvings, and the magnitude of the time that it's taken differed, which we've already covered that. He said back then, M2 money supply of major central banks, the U.S. Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, Bank of Japan, People's Bank of China, grew rapidly as interest rates were stuck at or below zero in the advanced world, which catalyzed the risk taking across the financial markets, including cryptocurrencies. In other words, for history to repeat itself, macro conditions would need to support that level of risk taking. That's not the case today. Interest rates in the U.S., the world's largest economy, stands above 5%, and markets have recently priced out hopes of that rate cut. Let's talk about that real fast, and then I got a hopium chart to show of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. But yeah, right there, guys, there it is. We've had ideal scenarios to foster price growth previous halvings that we do not have anywhere in the realm of our economy right now. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do we need the economy to turn around for Bitcoin to do what Bitcoin does? OC, we'll go with you first.
Yes, we do need it. Absolutely. Right now, guys, we don't need to lose. The side that still Bitcoin is what I usually call a toy or a joke so far. I mean, I am very deep on Bitcoin. You already know that my full savings account sits on Bitcoin, but that doesn't take out the facts that right now on the global markets, this is not a major asset so far. We have opened up the Pandora box, which is open up the door for institutional money in that hopefully and most likely will change things for the better, right? So do we need the economy to change? Yes, we do it because, I mean, we all are earning within the same boundaries of the economy. And if you don't have money, well, how are you going to be buying that Bitcoin? If the rest of the enterprises don't have that money that you need to spend also on them, how they are going to be investing on Bitcoin, right? So we are getting tied back to the real economy, to the traditional economy with the ETF, while also open up the doors to that institutional money. So yes, we absolutely need real economy, but numbers are looking fabulous. And hopefully we can see the traditional economy turning back up, because I do want to see that 500,000 Bitcoin and say, hey guys, we called it here.
Awesome. TradeFly, your thoughts?
Man, I totally lost my train of thought. I got to be honest with you. I started looking at the chat and I was about to give people some shout outs. But yeah, I mean,
the economy, does it need to turn around before Bitcoin can do what Bitcoin does?
I think at current state, yeah, I literally just caught my train of thought. Thank you. But yeah, I think at the current state where we're at in terms of price action, in terms of being near an all-time high, yeah, I think it does. Because remember, in the last bear market, when things were not looking so good, it just kept dragging Bitcoin down and down and down and down until ultimately we got to a point that the buyers just couldn't help themselves. And I think that initial pump, really, I think institutional investment probably came in at about January of 2023. That's my personal opinion. And that's what started driving the price up. So we don't have that narrative anymore. Institutions are in. Big boys are already putting their money in. I think, though, with that being said, they're not going to let Bitcoin price get drugged down as much. But I wouldn't be against them taking advantage of the opportunity either, that if price comes back a little bit, that gives them the opportunity to accumulate more. So
awesome. Appreciate it. Now let's jump over here to this chart real fast. I'm going to show you guys what's going on right now. Bitcoin is dropping right now. We are breaking that lower trend line there that I had pointed out earlier. But something that when I look at the daily that I'm seeing here, and I see a little scenario playing out. You can see back here previously, we had this nice little line that was dropping down, and it looked like it was starting to curve to come back up at the time period there. That would have looked like it was about to make a rebound at that level. And then it went further down, and then it touched right down here near our dynamic reactor on a major fib. If we take a look at what's going on right now, I could see us coming down, doing another little, looks like it's starting to curve, and then comes down fully into that bullish zone down there. And at the same time, guys, look what we have coming in here. That would be a breakdown to the 50, a major Fibonacci level coming in on play on the daily dynamic reactor. That level's coming in at $56,000. Jump over here. That would be the top of the 887 on my phase 3 box that I've been talking about for a long time. I'm starting to see this, play into what I've been calling for a while, $56,000 Bitcoin. So shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. That concludes what we got today for Alpha for you. But I just wanted to give a shout out real fast here. Let me bring up the emoji there. There's the Alexandra G emoji. Bring that up there. Shout out to Alexandra G. She is absolutely crushing it every other side, OC, every single day and every channel that she's on. So I just want to give her a personal shout out, and shout out to the alumni. I appreciate you all joining us here today. OC, TradeFly, have you got anything for the people before we hop out of here?
Hey, nope. I hope you all have a great day. And we're going to do this again tomorrow. So come on back and we'll have some more fun.
All right. OC, what you got, bro?
Guys, thanks so much for joining today. Make sure that you click that like button, because if you do, your Android phone's pictures won't look like crap this time. And if you're an Apple user or an iPhone user, you're chilling. Just click that like button. Other than that, turn it back to you guys.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until then, guys, thanks for joining us today. We'll catch you next time. Trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. Sound off to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!